Alcohol use disorder is not a choice. In fact, I would go so far as to say that it's never a cognitive choice. No one ever makes that decision independent of everyone else and everything around them, culturally or any other way. The person who suffers from alcohol use disorder suffers from a mental disorder. It's a mental issue. It actually affects you short-term level. It affects the frontal lobe of your brain. It affects your decision-making skills. It affects your ability to talk and walk in a normal way. That's the short term. The long-term effects can be your brain can actually atrophy, and for obvious reasons, because alcohol is ethanol, which is literally a poison that you're putting in your body. It will break down all your physical organs, besides your brain. But to say it's a choice is just not having a full understanding of what's really going on with the person. So many people, and I understand this, their comments and their reactions are reactionary without understanding what's actually going on with the alcoholic in their family. I'm going to explain this. Now, whether or not you choose to accept that is on you, but what I'm talking about is years and years of research by people who do this for a living and do this. They literally dedicate their lives. People in the World Health Organization, the NIAAA, which is the National Institute of Alcoholic Abuse and Alcoholism, and of course the AMA, the American Medical Association, which has deemed it as a mental health disease since 1956. This has been understood for going on 100 years, and understanding how to take care of this disease. But a choice, that's not something what this is. Again, I have a complete coaching program that's really designed to help the alcoholic and the family understand what's going on with the alcoholic in their family. And it's so important. Click on the link above, set up a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes. We're going to do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. The call is free. The course is definitely not. But I'm looking for people who want to commit to themselves and to change their life and set up a blueprint so that they can change their behavior in their life forever. Now, coming from the family standpoint, I get it. I get reactionary emotions. I understand if you grew up with an abusive father or parent who was an alcoholic, you're going to have those kind of angst and reactionary emotions. What a horrible thing you had to go through. Abuse and verbal abuse, physical abuse maybe, or a spouse who was acting out of hand, or a son or a daughter, or anybody in your life who's just seemingly has not had rational decisions. Unfortunately, it really was not their cognitive decision. Their brain function was actually altered because of the alcohol. And I understand people come on with their shopping list of, well, he did this, she did this, over and over again. Well, I'll tell you, I was married for 25 years and my wife succumbed to the disease. She ran through the front of our house twice, drove through the garage door, almost killing me once. She had 4 DUIs. She went to 7 rehabilitation facilities, multiple detox facilities. I can't even remember how many outpatient programs that she went to, court ordered and otherwise. And none of it made any difference because her brain was not functioning properly. You were talking about somebody who had cirrhosis of the liver, bariatric surgery, intestinal problems, pancreatic problems. She was on kidney dialysis the last month of her life. And if she had been able to survive, she would have gone right back to the alcohol because it's no longer a choice, because it's a mental health disease. Understanding that, and I hope this video can do that as I continue. And I get the whole shopping list of he did this and she did this, and they did these horrible, atrocious things. They got arrested so many times, and there was domestic problems and abuse and neglect. We were left alone as kids. I hear that, and it's horrible. I'm not taking that away. It's atrocious. And this is why I talk about this. This is why it needs to be understood. If you're a family member, I hope you have the capability of trying to understand past your reactionary emotions, because I understand that. I wrote an entire book about a shopping list of things that my son and I, and certainly Amanda, went through. I get that. But you also need to delve into why that person was the way they were. Amanda, my wife, she was one of the kindest, loving, outgoing, fun people, great energy persons I've probably ever met in my life. And yet she was also this raging, nonstop alcoholic who, no matter what boundary you put in front of her, it didn't make any difference. She was still going to drink because it's a mental health disease. It's not rational. It's completely irrational. I mean, your brain is definitely, I mean, it's non-functioning. It's not functioning the way a normalized drinker would be, or somebody who does not suffer from this. And it's especially hard to understand. It's a mental health disease. You have to look past that as a family member and understand their only choice is the alcohol. And it never had anything to do with you as a son or a daughter, or as a spouse, or as a friend, or as any family member, or anybody in the circle of the alcoholic. It has nothing to do with you. It wasn't about you. It wasn't because of you. It's something that's going on in their brain. Some of it, and I want to continue with the why people drink to begin with, or why they start, and why that's not even a choice. And the thing is, I get this all the time. Well, he or she chose the alcohol over me, so I divorced them, or they divorced you, or whatever. It was the end of the relationship. And in fact, that's not accurate. They didn't choose anybody over the alcohol. Their only choice was the alcohol. Period. They didn't have there's no plan B. Okay, there is no plan B. That's hard to understand, because it's a disorder. You have to drink to be normalized, to deal with your repressed emotions of depression, anxiety, stress. A person could be bipolar. They could suffer from the spectrum of all kinds of problems. Schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, being an introvert, social awkwardness, all kinds of reasons why people drink. Physical and mental abuse in their own life. There's all kinds of reasons why people drink. But it's never a choice of like, I want to destroy my life. It's about covering up repressed emotions. And that's not always a choice in the way we think of choice, of I want the red one or the blue one. It's not that kind of a choice. Now, to continue the conversation about choice, and when I say it's never a choice, maybe even that first drink, it's never completely a choice, because when you take that first drink, even as a kid, maybe you're 14, 15, 16, 18 years old, and you take your first drink, well, why are you taking that first drink? You're certainly not taking it with, I'm going to have alcohol use disorder in a decade from now, or 20 years from now, or even sooner, depending on the volume that creates. No, you grew up in a world where it's culturally normalized to drink. The fact that you even have access to alcohol at such an early age tells you that, that's not normal for a kid to have access, to be able to, get a beer or some other spirit or wine and have access to it at such an early age. That means there's not adult supervision. That means it's been normalized in the adult world that you are exposed to. So culturally, it's acceptable to drink. I've seen like little kids drinking a beer, and the adults think it's funny. It's not. It's not. And if you grew up in that environment, was that your choice? What was if you grew up in an environment where there was no alcohol, where there was no choice, where your parents' friends, or your parents, or if you have a single mother or father, whatever the situation, grew up in an environment where there wasn't any alcohol? It wouldn't be such a choice. It wouldn't be, the accessibility wouldn't be there. And also the problems of alcohol in the adult world that you grew up in also wouldn't be there. Same thing for any kind of drug. If you're not exposed to it at an early age, or exposed to it at all, you're not going to know that it exists at all to begin with. And even to break this choice down even further as far as culture, because culture equates to more than 50-60% of the reasons why people drink, along with peer pressure in youth. It's a big reasons why people begin to drink. Tack on hereditary issue, hereditary disposition. There is ADH1B and ALDH2 on a chromosomal level that can give someone a predisposition. Your parents drink, your grandparents drink, somebody in your hereditary background drank, had a problem with alcoholism, and they've passed that gene down to you. That's a reality. Is that a choice for your first drink? No, it's not. You already have a predisposition. Doesn't mean you're going to become an alcoholic. That means the probability is certainly there. Now, to circle back to culture, you know, I mean, I grew up in the United States, so let's talk about religion, for example. There's a higher probability that you're going to be exposed to a Christian faith, Protestant, Catholic, Baptist, Southern Baptist. I mean, there's a million of them. Calvinists, you name it. But you're certainly going to be exposed to that side of it, more of a European background. Even, depending on, it doesn't even make any difference what race you are. You're going to be exposed to a Christian faith, as opposed to maybe growing up in the Middle East or India, another part of the world, and you're going to be exposed to, like in India, probably Hindu sects, Islam, certainly Muslim faiths, where that probability is going to be much smaller in a country like the United States or Canada or European-based countries. And that's not a choice. That's what you're exposed to. That's a reality. How we drink, or how we dress. I don't wear a burqa. I don't wear Indian clothes. I don't wear, clothes from, if I was from the Belgian Congo, for example. I don't wear, like long robes. I don't wear traditional dress of a Japanese person. Okay, because I didn't grow up in that culture. So is it my choice to wear, a white shirt? Not really. It's because it's the culture I grew up in. Alcohol's the same thing. It's what you're exposed to. It's what, the people around you have said this is okay, and drink from this cup because it's okay. We do it, so it's okay that you do it. So is that a choice, really? No, it's not. No, it's not. Because no child under the age of 25, certainly before your brain has the capacity to be fully developed, has the capacity for that type of independent thinking. Very, very rare for someone to have that type of independent thinking where they say, no, I don't want that. I don't want that, especially when it's been handed to you on a silver platter. This is okay. Our parents do it. Our grandparents do it. Our cousins do it. Our friends do it. And everybody we know is doing it. So why aren't you? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you drinking? In fact, it's weird if you're not drinking. And understanding that is a big part of the reason. So understand that it's never always just a simple choice. So the end result is, what happens is when you grow up in this normalized world, for a large percentage of the population, they become addicted to the drug of alcohol. Number one, the accessibility is outrageous. You can go anywhere. You can go on your iPhone and have 2 cases of beer delivered at your house. The accessibility is everywhere. It's in the grocery stores, it's in liquor stores, it's in convenience stores. It's on your iPhone. I mean, you can order it anywhere. Okay, I mean, most of the stores exist today. They have DoorDash. I mean, you can get a bottle of whiskey at your house in half an hour. Okay, so the accessibility is just there, and unfortunately, certainly in Western culture, we've kind of set ourselves up for failure in that area, definitely, because there's a lot of money behind it, there's taxes behind it, there's revenue behind it, and ultimately there's money and power behind it, and it's been handed to us on a silver platter that it's okay and it's normalized and it's a way to get through life. It's a way to deal with your emotions. It's a way to deal with your anxiety. It's a way to deal with life itself, and that's okay. So drink and be happy, kind of a thing. And you have to be able to have that independent thought that if you're going down that road and you realize if it's interfering with your relationships, with your health, with your overall productivity as a person, then yeah, you got a problem. Because I have people every day, do I have a problem? I do this, this, and this. Well, the consistency of drinking is actually a stage 2 alcoholic. If you've created any kind of consistency, you're drinking 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, or you're binge drinking on the weekends, well, you've created a pattern, okay? And that's a pattern, and you've created a road and a foundation of really the world of alcohol use disorder, because after you've created that type of pattern, your body becomes used to it, normalized to it, craves it physically, emotionally, and psychologically, and then you quickly will go down the road of alcohol use disorder, and this is how it starts. So culture starts it, genetic disposition, trauma, stress, depression, anxiety, all these emotions that are part of that culture that you grew up in, and maybe that anxiety that was put upon you, or even worse, trauma. Not always trauma, but quite often that's certainly a catalyst for it. And again, I hope this video has given you some insight into why it happens. It's not a moral issue is really what I'm getting at to. It's not a character issue. Alcoholics are not bad people. They've just made bad decisions sometimes. And sometimes it's not even their decision is what I'm getting at. And rarely is it really, it's never their decision. Potentially, anyone could get caught up into the web of alcohol use disorder. Understanding that a person, certainly in later stages, really they're mentally disabled, and I think we need to look at these people as being mentally disabled rather than shunning them and pointing fingers and mocking them. That doesn't help them, and it certainly doesn't help society understand and to grow from this horrible disease. And I really hope that makes sense. Now, for the longer version of this conversation, you can go to YouTube. It'll be a good half hour, 45 minutes. The link is in the link tree to go to YouTube to further the conversation and for more definition of what we're talking about. And again, the book, Amanda, Cautionary Tale, can also be found in the link tree. You can buy it right on my website. It's also available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and the Apple website for the ebook. There's an international link. This is going to be purchased anywhere in the world. And again, thanks so much for listening.